Dr. Fellow,
Here.
Mr. Osterling,
Here.
Mr. Hilsman,
Here.
Ms. Brown,
Here.
Ms. Chen Lao,
Here.
Mr. Martin,
Here.
Ms. Wah, Ms. Rod.
Thank you. Our closed session this evening will include the conference with labor negotiator pursuant to Government Code 54957, agency representative, myself, as board president, will be in charge, I guess. Number 2, public employee appointment pursuant to Government Code 54957, superintendent president, Government Code 54957, public employee appointment, and Government Code 54957, evaluation of employees, superintendent president. Do we have any comments? Mr. Hill?
There are none.
We will now go into closed session. Thank you. Closed session this evening, the board agreed to offer the position of President Superintendent of Pasadena City College to Erica Androgenes, and subject to reaching an employment contract. Thank you. And good evening, a quorum being present for the December 12th meeting of the Board of Trustees, Pasadena Area City College will come to order. Roll call, please.
Dr. Fellow,
Here.
Mr. Osterling,
Here.
Mr. Hilsman,
Here.
Ms. Brown, Ms. Chen Lao,
Here.
Mr. Martin,
Here.
Ms. Wah, Ms. Rod.
Thank you. Mr. Martin, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Happy to. If you'll please stand. Join with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, John. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion from Mr. Hilsman. I'll second that motion. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Any introductions this evening? No introductions? Anyone have any introductions? Public comments, Mr. Hilsman.
Yes, we'll begin with Leonardo de Mortse. Are you here? Leonardo? All right. Richard Segura? Was it 3 minutes? You'll have, sir, you'll have 3 minutes, and you'll see the light going off.
Okay. Hello, members of the public. I am Richard Segura, and I am a student and a civil rights organizer with the California Teachers Association and Student Action here at PCC. We've come to this meeting to address the culture of ableism on this campus. From what started as a meeting on September 28th of this year with the Dean of Special Services and representatives of the Disabled Student Programs and Services, we've discussed that the closure of the adaptive equipment room at the Shafford Library. At this meeting, we asked for the restoration of the Access Technology Center in D208. The Access Technology Center existed here at PCC prior to its closure in the spring of 2014. For those who do not know what an ATC is, it is a place where students with disabilities can access the necessary technologies and other services to help them succeed in their classes. Currently, no such lab exists. And the substitutions here are inferior to what other college campuses currently offer. This perpetuates the notion of separate but equal, which we all know that is inherently false. PCC currently is at an embarrassment with its disabled student programs and services, considering that other colleges have offered similar services and oftentimes serve much smaller populations. Currently, the DSPS program registers at over 2,400 students. On October 29th, we met with Dr. Olivo discussing the possibility of the establishment of the Accessible Technology Center. It was at this meeting where the true intentions of D205 were being discussed. Currently, D205 is the assessment center, which has been used for students in the DSPS program for exams. As students in the DSPS programs, we have already filed a complaint with the Office of Civil Rights in San Francisco for PCC's gross violations of the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1992 and Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act. The current assessment center already offers the amenities that are being used by DSPS to proctor services. You know, we want to argue, we at Student Action assert that education is a right regardless of our ability to pay, and we demand the restoration of the Accessible Technology Center. Open it up or we'll shut it down.
Thank you. Philbert Jong, you'll have 3 minutes, sir.
Oh, yeah, up here? No, further back.
Oh, I see. On the right?
Here, yes, here.
Oh, I see. My apologies.
That's all right. And I'll give you the 30 seconds when your time is up.
I appreciate that. Give me one quick second. Okay, greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Philbert Chong, and I am an in-district student of the Pasadena Area Community College District, and am also a student in the DSPS program here at PCC. I was accepted into the program due to my visual impairment. The reason I am here is to demand that the issues concerning DSPS and its students be addressed once and for all. As you will hear, the issues I am about to draw your attention to are only one or two of several issues plaguing this college. A service that DSPS currently lacks is scribes, also known as note takers. Students whose disabilities limit them from independently taking quality notes, or students such as myself who are unable to read the board desperately need this service to succeed in our courses. The concept is simple. A qualified student worker or employee of DSPS would attend the class alongside the DSPS student, and any notes the student would otherwise be able to take, including copying off the board, the scribe would write down. Secondly, one more issue we seriously need to address is the lack of a reliable access technology center, let alone a DSPS student success center. We had an access technology center up until the fall of 2014 semester when the dean decided to close its doors. The Access Technology Center was and would be a place to house specialized equipment and computers with software specifically intended for students with disabilities. We also would have the opportunity to receive training for these pieces of equipment. In closing, I would just like to say that we really need to address these issues. If we don't, then it's going to lead to many students who are not able to transfer simply because they have a disability. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jong. There are no further comments.
Thank you, Mr. Hilsman. We'll now move on to approving the minutes of the regular meeting of the board for November 14th, 2018. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion from Mr. Osterling and a second from
Second.
Mr. Hilsman. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. We also have to approve the minutes of a special meeting for December 1st, 2018. I'll entertain a motion.
I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Brown, a second from Mr. Osterling. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. We now move into the consent items, and the first group of items deal with student activities. I'll entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Brown, a second from Mr. Osterling. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. The second group deals with instruction. We have one item there. I'll entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Hilsman, a second from Mr. Osterling. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. The next group deals with the business of the college, and I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Osterling, a second from Ms. Brown. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries unanimously. And finally, the next item deals with consent items dealing with personnel, and I'll entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Brown, a second from Mr. Hilsman. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Oh, Mr.
Just
Martin?
on that last one, there's some real PCC who's on that list that will be leaving us that have been here for a really long time and have done a lot of tremendous work over the years. And I don't have it open in front of me. I know there's at least 3 or 4 that have 30-plus years, including
Dean
Dr.
Jim
Douglas
Onwine,
and
Dr.
Dean
Douglas, and
James
Dean
R.
Jim
Wine,
Onwine.
and there's a couple others that with some real long service. So I don't want to let this moment pass without doing a shout out to those guys. Dave Douglas and Jim Arnwine were here in many, many of these meetings and did a lot of exceptional things. So great a few more great pillars of this institution that we're going to miss, but always be a part of us. So
Thank you for bringing that up, John. I usually try to catch that. I didn't.
And also, I wanted to congratulate Julie Kiotis, who's the new dean, and that's of Business, Engineering, and Technology in the audience.
Okay, we'll move on to action items now. And the first action item is receipt of the fiscal year 2017-2018 district financial audit and Measure P general obligation bond construction fund financial and performance audits.
I will turn this over to Trustee Martin, who is the chair of the Budget and Audit Subcommittee of the board.
All right, thank you. And I didn't think you were going to be here. I thought this was like all on me. Take it away. Go ahead. And you can tell them the real truth, and then I'll fill.
All right, sounds good. Good evening, everyone. Last week, we met with the audit committee, and I always think that's a great opportunity for the members of the audit committee to ask a lot of questions with the audit report. And I thought we received really great questions from the board members on that committee, and I just want to commend the district for having an audit committee in place. I thought we were able to go over the report in a great detail, a lot more than I'll go over tonight, and I just think that's a great opportunity. So I commend the district for having the audit committee. But as auditors, when we come, basically our scope of our audit is to issue 3 opinions. We issue an opinion on the financial statement. In addition to that, we issue an opinion on federal compliance. And the last opinion we issue is on state compliance. So those are the 3 major opinions as auditors that we give. So that's the scope of the audit. Not to go over all the pages of the audit report, all 100 of them. So for the sake of time, I'll just go over what I think is probably the most important page. And that's on page 100 if you guys would like to follow along. It's basically the summary of auditors' results. And the summary of audit results lists the 3 major opinions that we do give as auditors. For financial statements, we issued an unmodified opinion. An unmodified opinion is the cleanest opinion we can give and states that the financial statements are fairly stated in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. So it's a clean opinion. It's the highest level assurance you'll receive from the auditor. Keep in mind, the district received an unmodified opinion without any audit adjustments, which is a great sign. In many cases, districts will receive an unmodified opinion, but the auditors will basically give the district a list of audit adjustments that if they accept, then you get a clean opinion. Your district received a clean opinion without any audit adjustments. For federal awards, we also issued an unmodified opinion. So the district met all of the federal compliance requirements which we're required to test. For state awards, we also issued an unmodified opinion. So the district met all the state compliance requirements which we're required to test. And there's about 17, 18 compliance requirements that the state asks us to look at on a yearly basis. Only other pages I like to go over is starting on page 101 is our findings and recommendations. And I always see, if you look at that page, it's a blank page. Auditors had the perception of being negative, and that's a true statement. We are negative. We do not give what we call positive assurance. Auditors only give negative assurance. So this is the reason why when you see a blank page, it's a really good sign that the district did well during their course of the audit. So just to recap the district's report, there was all 3 unmodified opinions, and there are no findings and recommendations. So at this time, I could answer any questions that anyone might have with the regular report.
Is there any question?
I do have a question. Actually, it's not a question, it's just a clarification. I should have asked this earlier, but I was reading this afternoon, I had nothing to do. So on page 10 of the report, the first paragraph, they were talking about the property taxes levied and received from property within the district. I was kind of concerned as to how is it that we have a drop, knowing that we're having such of a good economy, and so that kind of caught my eyes.
Keep in mind with property taxes are what we call a zero-sum game with apportionment that the district receives. So on years when you received less property tax than what is the state estimates, the state will make up that difference. And vice versa, the years that you received more property tax money, the state will reduce their funding. So it's really a zero-sum game when you look at it from that perspective.
Well, thank you. That is interesting.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I want to thank the audit committee. Did a great job.
Okay, I had a couple of things I
Okay,
do need
go
to
ahead.
say. You were going to go on, I think, with, were you going to mention Measure P? Or-
Yes, I will.
Okay, well, I'm going to let you do
Okay, excellent.
everything you need to do, and then I'll just
Okay.
fill in any gaps.
Sounds good. Okay, we do issue a separate report since the district went under Measure P, which basically requires another separate audit be performed. And it's actually 2 audits into one when you look at this. It's a smaller report. There's 2 reports into one. There's the financial report as well as the performance audit. The financial report is basically, we're looking at the money, basically the numbers of the building fund or the bond fund for the district, and we render an opinion on that. The performance audit is basically a compliance audit. We come in and select a sample of expenditures to make sure that the district is spending the money in accordance with what the voters want the money to be spent on, what they voted for. So this is basically the 2 reports. The audit opinion for the financial statements is an unmodified opinion, a clean opinion. So the Measure P, financial statements are fairly stated in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. For the performance audit, we noted a clean report as well. The district is spending the money as required by what the voters wanted the money to be spent on. So that too well is a clean audit. Both audits did not have any audit findings as well. So just to recap both reports, the district received all clean opinions with no audit findings. One thing I'd like to go over too as well is a separate letter that we do issue. This is the letter that for those charged with governance. Within this letter, we need to let the board know if there's any disagreements with management, any difficulties during the course of the audit. I'm happy to say we did not have any of those issues. When we came out, and this is our first year. This is our firm's first year for doing the audit for the district. And, first year audits are sometimes scary for auditors because, you never know what's going to happen, you're going to find when you go into a place. But we just really thought that for the first year, the audit went really smoothly. So we just like to thank the district's business team, not only the business team, but all the district itself, because we do look into other areas. We go to missions and records. We look at student financial aid. So we're all over the place within the district, and everyone was, very nice. They provided us our information in a timely manner. They were all very professional. So we just would like to thank the district for helping the audit process. So at this time, I can answer any questions that you have with the audit.
Any questions? Thank you very much. John?
Okay, so I think of the audit, first I divide it into 3 sections. The first part of the audit is the real financial auditing part of the audit are the numbers that the district is presenting to the public accurate? So as he explained, he went through and they validated the fact that the numbers that we are presenting are very accurate. To put this in context, no findings, no weaknesses, not even any adjustments. That was a sensational job by our finance team in this college. I mean, this is sensational. And this is at least 2 years in a row where there have not been any findings. And I've been on the board for a long time. And when we got to that first year, not too long ago, 3 years in a row, where there were no findings, I think that was the first time in my tenure here that that was the case, because this is a very large, complex institution. And to not find any findings amiss or any adjustments is really like Golden State Warrior level of basketball. I mean, just way up there. So a lot of kudos to Richard and Chedva and the whole finance people for what they did here, because this is just fantastic. And we validated that, so that you know, we validated that in a closed session without management present. We had a long conversation with them at that time too. Secondly, what are the numbers telling us? So now we know the numbers are good. What do they mean? So I want to just point out a couple numbers that I think I consider to be important, and Jim and Berlinda and others can chime in. Page 15. So one of the goals that we set up is we want to end the year in the black. Actually, so I'm going to turn you over to page 19 and 20 first, and then we'll come back. So, nope, I'm sorry. I'm sending you all the wrong places. I'm looking for my statement of revenues. Page 16. I want page 16. 3 lines up from the bottom, page 16. I apologize. I made notes, but I wrote the wrong numbers on my notes. You're going to see 3 lines up, change in net position. That basically is, did you finish the year in the black? And you would read $7.7 million negative, which would infer that we did not. But there's one thing that's not included in this statement of position, and that is that we made an approximately $14 million out of our general funds here into trust funds to help set up funding, better funding for future OPEB and STRS and PERS contributions. So if you turn over, and this is where I was sending you before, to page 19 and page 20, you're going to see where that $10 million transfer for OPEB happened and approximately $4 million of transfer for STRS and PERS. So when you consider that 14 million is what created the minus 7 million, yes, we would have in operations ended in the black by 7 million, except for I think we made a prudent choice in establishing the trust and trying to put some of this money aside where we can make a better return to help us better meet our obligation to our retirees and staff in the future. So I think that's an important thing to know, that yes, we did end the year in the black. Then I'm going to turn you back to page 15, which is the statement of position, or the balance sheet as it's sometimes referred to in maybe for-profits, which you have assets and you have liabilities, and if the number on the bottom is in the black, that means your assets are valued more than your liabilities. So when you look on our page at the very, very bottom, the bottom line number, total net position, yes, we're in the black by $22.8 million. So it's nice to be in the black there. Now, 22 million on an institution of this size is not very far in the black. And what should be somewhat alarming is the number just above the 22 million, which is a negative $113 million in unrestricted. And that's kind of a problem. So in total, the value of the buildings, at whatever they're valued at when we first started in 24 or whatever, covers all our obligations, but we obviously don't want to be in a spot where we have to sell buildings to do that. And you can see that when you parse out the part of net position that's left after what's obligated for debt service, capital, and program, we really, in our unrestricted, are a negative $113 million. Now, he gave us a little bit of condolence, and there are some districts, several districts, whose total position is negative. But being negative there, 113 million, is not really where, if this was my business, I would want to be. But let's look at what has happened. And so now we slide up the page to something called aggregate net pension obligation. And it's $161.6 million. It's about a third of the way up the page under the non-current liabilities. So in the last few years, the gurus of accounting have established that you will recognize this amount of unfunded liability. And I appreciate the auditors taking the committee through how the criteria is decided on how much that liability is, because the criteria is very speculative. Mm-hmm. So that 161 million, and back in the notes, it explains exactly how they came up with it. You change one slight assumption ever so slightly, and that number could go zinging one way or zinging the other. So it's a pretty slushy number, though it's audited and the best number we can come up with.
It's best estimate at the time, but it's real sensitive.
It's very sensitive. I'll call it slushy.
So John, can you just, before we go on so I can understand,
Yeah.
when something's categorized as unrestricted, does that, what does that mean?
I'll let you answer.
Yeah, basically, the unrestricted portion is districts will have stuff that is considered restricted, and basically that's made up of all your debt service funds would be the restricted funds, and then you have your capital projects funds, so like all your bond money, that's all restricted for specific purposes by enabling legislation. In addition to that, you have a lot of money within the general fund that's restricted too as well for the specific like federal and state programs that the district does have. So basically that's when you look at your net position, you have all your restrictions. Your debt service was basically all your bond interest and redemption fund is probably the majority of it. And then your educational programs would be the general restricted fund. And then basically those are your restrictions. But then you also have restrictions in your net capital assets. So all the fixed assets of the district, all the buildings, all the land, basically that amount along with all the debt the district has associated with that, all the general obligation bonds, that number is netted in that net investment in capital assets. The rest of that falls into the unrestricted category. And this is the reason why it's so negative is because of the aggregate net pension liability of $161 million. Basically, that's the big portion of it. If you didn't have that liability, obviously, you would be in the black and you're unrestricted.
So in layman's terms, if we sold everything and liquidated, we'd end up with $22 million?
Yeah, in essence, but keep in mind, like fixed assets, all the land the district has under GASB's reported at acquisition cost or historical cost. So obviously, if you sold your land, you're going to get a lot more than what it's on the books for.
So he's going right to the point that I was trying to make. So we have this negative, and it's basically caused by the 161 million. So on these reports, we are obligated to go out and figure out what that total liability is and pop it in here. And there we are in trouble. And the reason it hasn't caught up to us yet is because the actual cash out to do those things happen in the future when retirees really retire. So because CalPERS and STRS realize this, what they are doing, as you've constantly heard in the past from our committee, is every year they're increasing the amount of CalPERS and CalSTRS that we have to pay to CalPERS and CalSTRS cash out to help get them in a better position to handle this to the total obligation, of which this is our share of it. Okay? So in essence, the debt is on the books, but the credit card bill hasn't come yet. And they're trying to ramp up our monthly payments so that we can get closer to it. Okay? So that's the best summary of it, and you could probably say it better, but that's the best summary of it I can give you. And that's important for us to know, because as we're moving forward and those percentages start to ratchet up significantly, and I can't remember the millions of dollars per year in change, in difference that are added every year, there's going to be an impending problem on us and all the other local jurisdictions like us to meet that obligation. But it's already recorded here. That was the point.
Now, you did a great job. It's refreshing when board members understand the financial report as well as you do, so I commend you on that.
So just for, again, layman, does that mean that, let's just say we, our pension obligations increase, does that mean that our the quality of our audits will
Audit opinions, you mean?
Yeah, if we end up with a negative number here in our total net position, in terms of like bonds and things like that, will it impact
It could
us?
impact that,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
We haven't seen a lot of that. A lot of the bond rate, when your bonds get rated, they kind of understand these financial statements too as well. So what we're seeing a lot more, they're focusing still on the general fund, but they're asking a lot more questions with OPEB,
Well, and hypothetically, if a lot of community colleges get in trouble across the state, then the bonding, the rating agencies might take a dimmer view, right?
Yeah, it could absolutely have an impact on it. That's why I commend the district for setting up irrevocable trust for some of these liabilities.
I'd like to yield to Jim, and then I have one other section I was going to talk about briefly.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to quickly reiterate only a few of John's comments, and first of all, to commend Dr. Storty and Hedva and your staff as a former auditor for you guys to get not only a clean opinion, but no findings and no audit adjustments. That speaks to the quality of the work that your department is doing. And John, I wanted to thank you for taking 100 pages of complicated numbers and really boiling it down to what the essence, the true numbers are. And then the only thing that I would add is we talk about that big negative in the unrestricted. That is why, and the increase that's coming up in the PERS and STRS payments and rapidly, and that is why we are setting up these reserves so we can at least in a small way get out ahead of those increases that we know are coming and have reserves available as those contributions increase. And then lastly, Hoyt, responding to your question about bond ratings, like the Measure P bond, for example, when those bonds are issued, they're mostly evaluating the property tax revenue capabilities, not the district's financials, because ultimately that's how those bonds are repaid. We do want to be in good financial health. And then just to finish on that, the Measure P audit, which is pretty thin, and we know most of that money has been spent, and so now we're just auditing and keeping track of the last remaining bits of that money. But I think it's really important and it's commendable that we will have completed that Measure P building program with all of the monies spent as intended by the voters that approved Measure P, because we are contemplating a education master plan revision and update, which will lead to a facilities master plan update. And that will lead, at a minimum, to the need to issue bonds to upgrade our existing facilities for the 21st century and possibly build new facilities as well. And the fact that we were able to spend all of that Measure P money appropriately without any, in accordance with the voters puts us in good stead when we go back to the voters, hopefully in 2020. And that's not as easy as you think, because if you read the local papers, you hear about flare-ups at other K-12 districts and so forth where they've issued bonds and they haven't been spent for their purpose, and it causes a severe negative publicity, and we've been able to avoid that. So congratulations to everybody that was involved in that from 2002 up to the present. Thank you.
Okay, John.
So I mentioned 3 sections. First section was the quality of the numbers. Second section, what do the numbers mean? And then the third section. So normally, 1 and 2 is where we would end at this meeting, and we would have another meeting at the beginning of the audit next year where the auditors come in and we discuss, are there any areas in particular they ask us that we'd like them to look in? Well, we were doing so well because of the tremendous job by everybody here, that we actually had a discussion with them at the last meeting about things where we think we may want to focus in the future. So we've asked the superintendent, directed the superintendent, these are the areas that we think already, even though you're going to, by law, have to come in and ask us again. Sure. We've invited our internal auditor to come in at our next audit committee meeting and discuss with us some of the tasks that she's working on, but we'd like the whole college to know in advance the areas that we are concerned about, and that we hope our internal auditor and our external auditors will be looking into in the future. And so with that knowledge, putting it out there, I'm going to announce what they are right now. Area number 1 was physical cash receipts in remote locations. Not so much cash at the bookstore or at the bank, but cash that happens out at theater productions and athletic events and places where cash is handled. We're concerned that procedures are being properly administered and taken care of, that cash doesn't inappropriately disappear. Item number 2 was procurement cards, like fuel cards and credit cards. These are a little slipperier and harder to make sure that all things are being accounted for properly. So we are asking our auditors to pick that one up on the next go around, and our internal auditors to help. And finally, just a personnel check. And by that, we mean that we did have an incident in our history where certain people were being paid who were never showing up or doing their positions. And so we want to make sure that there's good double checks, that everybody that's on payroll and receiving compensation for work performed is actually for work performed. So those were the 3 areas that the audit committee signaled to our external auditors and to the administration that we would like their attention in the next go around. And I bring this up, 1, so that you know, and 2, of course, as the board, if you have other ideas, make sure Belinda, Jim, or I know so that we can get your thoughts into the meeting as well. And that finishes my part of the report, unless Belinda and Jim want to add.
I want to thank Belinda, Jim, and certainly you, Mr. Martin, as chairman, for the job you did. Good job, Joe. Seeing no other business, thank you for being here.
Thank you. You guys have a great rest of the meeting.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, you're welcome.
The next item tonight is the approve the unclassified salary schedule to accommodate the adjustment of the minimum wage increase effective January 1st, 2019.
Well, as you know, there is an increase in the minimum wage effective January 19, and this concerns mostly members that are not part of any bargaining units. There would be student workers, professional experts, and college assistants, and so on. And it's a routine approval of the new hourly rate for the staff.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll move approval.
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Brown, a second from Mr. Hilsman. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries unanimously. The third is also pro forma, approval of additions, deletions, and modifications to the credit and non-credit
This
curriculum.
is routine approval of some deletions and modifications to the credit and non-credit curriculum.
Yes, Mr. Martin.
Just a quick shout out. Thank you for the way you're adding yet another a transfer. Is that in this item here, or did I miss it up in the other item? But I'm excited about the new transfer that you're adding, especially with economics. I'm an econ guy, so thank you. But I appreciate everyone that you add, and that's one of the reasons we're transfer #1 in transfers. So thank you.
Absolutely, we're excited as well.
And why don't you make a motion, Mr. Martin?
Well, I'd be thrilled to move approval.
And I'll second that. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to to begin my remarks by recognizing a new addition to our administrative staff. We have a new dean in Dr. Julie Kiotis. Dr. Kiotis, congratulations. And you just approved her appointment. And as you know, Dr. Kiotis has been with the college for a long time. Faculty member, outstanding faculty member, full professor. And Dr. Kiotis was also at some point in time when I came to the college, president of the Faculty Association.
That's right.
Well, welcome, Dr. Kiotis. Welcome to the management level position at Pasadena City College, and we wish you plenty of success. I also want to thank Dr. Storti and his staff, Ms. Hedva Weingart, for the excellent work that you've done managing and preparing our books and monitoring the funds that we have at the college. And you may not have heard about it because we haven't mentioned it at the forum, and we did not mention it in other venues as well. The college received a donation of $10,000 from the new Stater Brothers Market that recently opened in Northeast Pasadena. Ooh. Funds were allocated toward PCC's programs for former foster youth and also our Veteran Students Center. Nice. We are grateful for the support of this new grocery store. I was very glad to represent the college together with Dr. Olivo and Ms. Tamika Alexander from the Transfer Center as we received a recognition at a gala event sponsored by the Campaign for College Opportunity last week. This organization, as you know, honors colleges for transfer degrees attainment, and we were so recognized as one of the top producers of ADT degrees in the state. And I just want to bring to all of you your attention that next year, when this event takes place, Pasadena City College will be ahead of the #2 school by more than 400 degrees. All right. So kudos to all our faculty, our staff, our student services folks also for nudging as you do the students to make sure they apply for graduation. I also want to thank the college staff and the trustees for the work that we've done in opening our new center in the Northwest. Dr. Bell, kudos to you because you did most of the work over there. And it was a major event. Well attended, it was standing room only, yes. And there were several representatives from the PUSD school board. Dr. McDonald was there also, and members from City Council were there as well. I also want to acknowledge the trustees who were able to join us at our holiday party last Thursday. And as you could see, the faculty and staff of the college truly enjoyed this opportunity to come together to celebrate the end of the year. I also have a very interesting, I guess, excellent piece of news, but at the same time, there's a piece of news that the college may not want to hear. Dr. Richard Storti.
We don't want to hear it.
Who has been such an excellent assistant superintendent and vice president, giving us balanced budgets, no audit finding with the help of his staff. Dr. Storti will be leaving us. This is his last board meeting. His last day with us will be January 11th. And on January 14th, Dr. Storti starts as Deputy Chancellor of the West Hills Community College District.
Congratulations.
Wish you all the best, Dr. Story. And thank you for your service to Pasadena City College. And with that, I wish all of you the happiest of holidays and a wonderful new year. This concludes my report.
Thank you very much. We'll now move to shared governance, and Ms. Lenore Rogas, Academic Senate.
Absolutely. First, I'd like to congratulate Dr. Julie Kiotis for her new position as the Dean of Business, Engineering, and Technology. The faculty thank you for your amazing dedication. To the faculty at large, the Division of Social Sciences in particular, and the countless psychology students you have mentored over the last few years. We are confident that your record of exemplary service to the PCC community will continue as you take on your new role. I'd also like to extend a congratulations to Dr. Martha House, who's the new interim dean of natural sciences. She'll be a very strong leader for this division during this time of transition. There are a couple faculty retirements that I'd like to acknowledge. First off, Dr. Enrique Orozco, who's been with PCC in the social sciences department for 46 years.
Wow.
That's longer than some of us have been alive. Richard Slocum for his 31 years of service at the Community Education Center, and Christopher Strinden for 22 years of service in the Mathematics and Computer Sciences Division. Next, many thanks to the Foundation for dedicating their Giving Tuesday to the Lancer Pantry. Through their efforts, over $10,000 was raised to meet the needs of students experiencing food insecurity. And then lastly, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge our community college colleagues at Butte College. Their staff and students combined lost over 150 homes. There is, through the statewide academic senate, a fundraiser that people can donate to online, and I've sent out an email already to the faculty and some of the managers. And so I'd like to forward that email to other members of the PCC community, and hopefully we can do a little bit to make their lives a little bit easier as they face an unprecedented challenge in their personal lives.
Thank you very much. And now we'll turn to Tito Altamirano, Management Association.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Actually, I want to take the opportunity to thank our dedicated managers as a whole for 2018. Again, this being the last meeting of the year. They took a lead role in establishing a campus-wide, student-centered, really equity-minded workshops and really a culture of change. They personally have helped me, my transition into as a president of MA a lot easier in the past 6 months. And with it, I want to thank Sonia Worst for stepping up as interim dean of Business and Engineering and Tech for the past 6 months. And as John was mentioning, Dave Douglas for 31 and a half years of service to PCC as Dean of Natural Sciences. And of course, Jim Onwine, who's served PCC for 33 years. And on that note, welcoming, for the third time, Julie Kiotis as the new Dean of Business Engineering and Technology, as well as Martha House as Interim Dean of Natural Sciences. Again, we'll be sure to connect to make sure you guys have a well connection in the upcoming year. But with these changes and a few additions coming in 2019, the MA looks forward to working with the administration, but as well as faculty, classified, and students on really developing a more transparent process for recruiting, hiring, onboarding, and of course, retaining our managers as we continue our collective pursuit for excellence here at PCC. And lastly, more on a personal, the Association of Latino Employees is hosting our annual tamalada tomorrow in the Circadian from 12 to 2. So we're going to have tamales and other good food. So hopefully the food lasts that long. So join us if you can. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we have Ms. Audrey Joseph of Classifieds.
Hi, good evening. The Classified Senate started off really great for the fall semester. We had a successful fall general meeting. We also put out a fall newsletter to all classified, updating everyone as to what the Senate's been doing recently and some things that are forthcoming. I'm happy to report that we have full classified representation on all of our standing committees under College Council. And we've also increased communication and transparency and soliciting classified participation on hiring committees. We're looking forward to doing big things in 2019. And finally, I would just like to thank our facilities department for working with us to remodel our classified Senate office. Thank you.
Thank you. you very much. And now President Colin Kim, Associated Students.
Hi. This week, our associated students have been preparing the final weeks for students, giving out free snacks, free drinks, and free test materials, what they needed for their finals. And on this Friday, we're preparing the events called Holiday Angels. It's for EOPNS students, giving out the free gift for their children, and also giving out the free dinner, nice dinner with their family. So yeah, that's all my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we'll turn to the board. Ms. Sandra Chinlao.
Hi, happy holidays, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to thank each one of you who participated in the community forum in helping us select the next superintendent of PCC. There was a lot of feedback and input from students, faculty, and staff, and which certainly helped to demonstrate the commitment and passion for this institution. So for those of you who participated, thank you very much for the time that you took to participate in the process. There'll probably be another appropriate time to thank Dr. Verdian for his leadership to the college, and I certainly want to take this opportunity to thank you for your mentorship and your inspiration. He, you may know, speaks Mandarin. So I would like to say a couple words in Mandarin to you, Dr. Verdian, so that you and I can continue to have our conversations. So 谢谢你的领导，我们很荣幸有你当我们的主席。谢谢。And finally, I'd like to thank Dr. Storti for your professionalism and certainly your leadership in the finance. I don't think I've ever been in an institution that has no audit recommendation to see a blank page. It is truly wonderful, and certainly your expertise will be missed. And I want to thank you and wish you all the best in your next endeavor.
Thank you. Mrs. Brown?
Definitely will miss you. It's good to come to a budget meeting and know that everything is in order without having to really, so we really will miss you. But I want to really thank Dr. Verdin and Dr. Bell for delivering. It was just wonderful to see that they brought closure to Northwest Pasadena, PCC. And it was such of a beautiful event. But yes, we are now officially there. Of course, we have a lot more work to do. Some of the community members have already contacted me and wanting to know what is next. They want to be involved, and lots of Facebook's participants. It's happening. So I am just so happy that we were able to bring this through, and I want to thank you guys for your leadership. I also was very impressed with that that ceremony we had, the scholarship ceremony for our students. PCC is doing a tremendous job. We really are. I must say so myself. We had a great number of students that received really a lot of money. Some of them receive as much as $5,000 in scholarship. Now, this is a community college, and we are just so on it. And I am just so proud to be part of PCC. So that's my report.
Thank you very much. Mr. Osterling.
I broken record, but congratulations to Dr. Bell and everybody that made PCC Northwest finally a reality. Thank you, Dr. Storti. You will be missed.
Yes,
and what I always said at every audit and budget meeting was that he has a unique ability to take all of these really complicated numbers and organize them and format them and put them in a way that we can understand them, and that's a gift, and we'll miss that. Good luck in your future endeavors. Dr. Olivos, it was good to be with you, and Dr. Verdian, and Tamika, and who else did I miss? At the transfer awards, and next year will be #1.
Yes.
And then lastly, one of the great things about being a trustee at PCC is to go to that annual scholarship awards and see all of our students and all the awards that they've earned, and the many thanks to the PCC Foundation, they're the ones that make that possible. And Dr. Verdian, I don't remember the numbers. How many dollars worth of scholarships were handed out last Friday night?
750,000.
To 250 plus students?
322.
322 students. So congratulations to all the students, and thanks again to the PCC Foundation. Thank you.
Mr. Hilsman?
Yeah, and as a co-liaison with Sandra Chen Lau to the foundation, I'm so impressed with the work that they're doing and the directions that they're taking. They're branching out beyond scholarships, which is wonderful, but into things like the Business Council, working with Salvatrice and others on workforce development, finding internships. So it's a real great momentum. Also wanted to say, I think it's since last meeting we had the VRC opening, which was a terrific event, and Dr. Levo spoke, very moving, as always. Just let me say about Richard's story. I'm a right brain kind of guy, so numbers just, blah, blah in one ear. But the thing that I've been so impressed with you, Richard, is that you have universal admiration on campus across the board. And for a green eye shade guy, that's a real accomplishment. And, I think your temperament, your leadership, your ability, I've been in neighborhood committee meetings with you and other things, and you really show a real humanitarian interest in other people. And I think that serves you so well, and it's a rare skill that you have, that you can bring all the numbers together, but you can also connect with people in the way that you do so successfully. So I'm sure you're headed for great things, and we're going to miss you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Martin?
I'm not going to repeat everything you all said, way better than I could say it, so I'll just pick on one that nobody's mentioned. I thought the annual report was phenomenal. I love the way a lot of what we just said is kind of embedded in here, but I love the way the pictures tell the story, the graphs tell the story, and then the story tells the story. So you can read it quickly, you can read it in depth. Just a beautiful publication for an exceptional year. And so I'm very grateful and hope we can get this out in many, many places. And everybody, about Richard, everybody said all that they can say, and all I'll say is, don't be surprised if there's no air in your tires when you go to leave.
And finally, I just want to continue on Mr. Story, Dr. Story. It's been a good friend, and I've enjoyed you. And we're down one Italian at PCC. But I want to wish everybody a happy holiday and a blessed holiday, and be safe. And we look forward to 2019 altogether. Any future agenda items? Seeing no further business in front of this board, this meeting's adjourned.